All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. Guys, let's check it out.
Flames filling the streets of Tehran as protests intensify across Iran. Protesters now burning cars and government buildings in the capital city while the regime looks to clamp down.
Yeah, the Ayatollah addressing the protest this morning, hours after he cut off internet access. He says he's refusing to back down, accusing President Trump of sabotaging him, telling President Trump, focus on your own country.
Former Navy captain and Pentagon official Brent Sadler joins us now.
Yeah, guys, every single person that is like running their country the way that Maduro ran things, like Xi runs things, kind of for the most part, but not like full scale like Maduro, right? But understand this: all of the people who are running like authoritarian, like dictatorial esque governments are absolutely kind of losing their mind over what happened in Venezuela, right? So you have to understand when the Ayatollah kind of comes out. And decides to basically shut the internet off because he does not want any longer the people to have any access to the information that's kind of coming from outside of Iran. It's a little troubling to me, bro. I'm sorry. I do, and I obviously I'm aware that the Ayatollah specifically is more like a puppet, but that's still not the point. I mean, he's still the face. So let's see where this goes. But the fact that he's kind of responding to Trump, with Trump saying that if anyone loses their life in a large scale manner, he's coming. It doesn't surprise me that he's coming out and saying these things.
Now, and thank you so much for doing just that. The Ayatollah has shut down the internet there. He's calling these protesters terrorists, and apparently he has this exit strategy if these protests continue to Russia.
What does he call the
There
Houthis?
have been rounds of protests to take place in Iran before that haven't amounted to anything. But do you view what's happening now as different and something that could actually lead to change?
Yes, the longer this has been going on and the more widespread, I mean, every corner of the country now has had major and sustained protests in every major city across the country. For the longest time, the one that seemed quiet was up to the northwest. That also has protests rolling through, and several cities apparently have even been taken over by protesters as the Iranian authorities have vacated out of the area. So those are significant events, but still the regime has a knack of snapping back and certainly using a lot of violence in order to regain its control. So the longer this goes, the more likely this regime is about to reach a breaking point. So we're not that far into this. When the Shah fell from power, it was after about a year of this type of activity.
Here's what the president said with Sean last night about what he thinks he wants to see when it comes to Iran. Listen.
You believe that Iran, you think the country is on the verge of collapsing?
Well, it could be. I mean, what they've done is in the past, they've started shooting the hell out of people, and all of a sudden people without any weapons whatsoever are standing there and you have machine guns gunning them down, or they take them to prisons and then hang them and kill them. So they played rough, and I said, if they do that, we're going to hit them very hard. Well, we're going to hit them hard. We're ready to do it. If they do that, we're going to hit them hard.
Yeah, but guys, understand this here. I mean, up until at least a couple of days ago, there were already 29 people in Iran who lost their lives due to the actions of the people opposing their rebellion.
Brett, should we have a role in Iran if the regime ultimately does collapse? And if so, what should that role be?
Yeah, a lot has changed now and very different from the historical record from the 1979 revolution that brought in the theocratic dictatorship that the Iranian people are suffering under for far too long. I mean, first and foremost, it's the Iranian people's responsibility to change their government. The United States clearly has an interest in that, and I think President Trump will act if U.S. interests have both an opportunity for the better as well as to safeguard any threats from the regime. Again, the regime is making threats against the United States.
They've always done
that. May
that.
be a pretext for U.S. action if they want to try, if it becomes clear that the regime is actually going to try and make good on those threats. But to kind of go back to the core issue here, it's the Iranian people that I think are fed up, and I think what's also different is the economy is in free fall. The regime has been discredited because of defeat after defeat after defeat in the last year, and its war through its proxies against Israel, and also with the severe strikes against its nuclear weapons enterprise by the United States. It's pretty clear confidence in this regime is very low on all fronts, and perhaps this might be the match that will light a fire that will finally get rid of this regime.
And speaking of the economy, there are reports that China could buy Iranian crude to make up for lost Venezuelan supply that is obviously no longer guaranteed. Could an unintended consequence of U.S. intervention in Venezuela be bringing these two adversaries of ours, China and Iran, closer together?
Absolutely.
Oh, I think they are already fairly close. Iran relies on the Chinese so much so that they give the Chinese a pretty hefty discount on the oil that they sell to China. And they are the largest exporter to China of petroleum, of crude oil. So the Chinese are also benefiting from this relationship. And it probably also goes into military equipment as well. And they clearly, through BRICS organization, also coordinate on the diplomatic stage as well. So I'd say it's not a change. If anything else, the greater dependence on Iran for oil by Beijing makes it much more, I guess, less resilient of an energy market for the Chinese and makes them more vulnerable. So overall, it gives the United States even more leverage.
Very good news for us.
Interesting point. Former Navy captain, Pentagon official.
All right, guys. All right. Like, without a doubt, I do suspect that all of the BRICS nations are generally going to come a lot closer, being Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. I do think that all of these nations, and Iran, if they're associated in any meaningful manner, right? But I do think that all of these places are going to get a lot closer, no matter what, with the times that are basically upcoming, with all of the overall drama and country hatred, let's say, that's happening kind of on Earth right now, right? Everyone is trying to just basically get into their corners and try to maintain themselves, which is understandable here, guys, right? Like, I mean, understand if the West is saying we no longer want any of these things to kind of exist within our region, and if you are existing within our region and still maintaining all of the literal nonsense that we no longer really care about, right? So what are you expecting here? Of course, they're all going to get closer consistently. It is what it is. That's the default here. They have to. For just overall self-sustainability, at least here, my opinion, right? Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies, and I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings. And we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry, right? Listen, like and subscribe.